Shame on the chop the run game on the.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Renegade coaches in the building.
Did he die this week or something again? Did he die for the fifth time? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you know he got to bust it off with his hip hop lyrics.
This man ain't been here for a while. He don't know what it is.
That's crazy, yo. Like he was born 1967. He died like about 12 years ago and shit. This dude is like
ODB.
ODB.
Shout out to ODB and his son YDB who fucks with us. You know what I'm saying? Good cat out here. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's Renegade Cultures, episode 86.
86, yo.
86.
86.
Now, in the restaurant business, 86 means motherfucker is over. You know what I mean? It means it's done, it's a wrap.
Word.
But here in Renegade Cultures means we only getting started out.
That's right.
What was you doing in 1986, Kamau?
86, I think I was graduating from...
This motherfucker old.
I was graduating from, I was going to say,
old.
from high school.
Graduated from college.
I probably
PhD
did. I'm not ashamed of my age.
I know you're not ashamed of your age.
I got 3 or 4 degrees. What you got?
33 degrees.
Nigga, you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying?
Standing on my square.
Prison labor. Prison labor.
This motherfucker bragging how
I'm proud of my degree.
Man.
Oh.
Yeah.
I earned my degrees, baby.
Anyway.
Yo, it's Renegade Culture. Yo, it's Kamau K. Franklin.
I am Kalonji Changa, a.k.a. the riot starter. I don't start riots anymore. It's a rebellion these days.
Oh, I like that. That was new, fresh. And who we got back there, yo?
And I go by the name of
the Ear Doctor.
The Ear Doctor.
Oh, that was smooth.
Ear Doctor's in the building.
You know what I'm saying?
We got a whole crew, all the Renegades in the building. We got Minister Server.
Minister Server, how you
He's
doing?
on the board tonight.
There you
know what I'm
go.
saying?
You know what I mean? My man Jai, don't forget Jai.
Where's Jai? Jai Love.
Jai's in the building.
There you go.
Jai
ain't shy.
You know what I'm saying? He promised to hook us up with some stuff next week.
Jai didn't come back with that brown liquor. I don't know what happened.
I know.
Even though I don't drink.
Some live shit. I think some live shit you gonna hook us up with.
Can't handle the drink.
Oh, you can't handle the truth. Anyway, this is Renegade Culture.
You know what I'm saying?
And for the record, you know, I did an interview earlier today, right?
You did? Somebody spoke to you?
With this nice progressive radio station. Progressive, right? So they had all these nice, good white folks calling in and shit. And it's one particular white woman, she didn't like what I was talking about when I was talking about white privilege. So she decided to tell me, and I said something about, you know, what she was dealing with was a case of white privilege. She decided to tell me about her having black boys, black sons.
Oh, damn.
I said, wow, you have black sons? She said, yes, I do. And such and such, such and such. What do you have to say about that? I said, well, a whole lot of slave masters had black children. Anyway, this Renegade Culture, well, you don't fuck with us.
True
you
that.
Run up in your motherfucking crib, smack the shit out your fat white wife, and lose our motherfucking mind, because that's what we do.
Just because you got black in you don't mean you black, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just because you got black in you every night at 9 o'clock.
Dozel.
We don't go for that, you know what I'm saying?
Satchel, what's the other Satchel chick name? Rachel's cousin?
The Satchel chick from last time. She's still trying to be black.
Not Satchel, nigga.
She's done, B. She's done.
Satchmo, that's what her name.
Shut the fuck up back there. Yo, so there's a lot going on out there in the world today, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why he tries to talk sometimes.
I have no idea.
It's that Morris Brown shit. I'm
involved.
So, yo, we got a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's happening not only like this past week.
That's right.
We got a special guest that's coming on to our show tonight.
Yes, we got a good brother who's been putting in work. My man, shout out to my man Frank Edwards in Charlotte, because he's like, you need to hook up with my guy out there and shit. I'm like, man, if he's a friend of yours, he's certainly no friend of mine, but I will fuck with him if you come on Renegade Culture. So tonight, we're friends. Anyway.
That's got nothing to do with our special guest.
Nothing at all.
Our special guest tonight is Brother Torian Walker, who's a journalist, a writer, social media, I would say expert. And what's the thing they call these social media folks?
He's what Sean King is trying to be.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But he's actually black, not like Sean King. But that's another discussion.
Oh, there you go.
You know, I don't know we're gonna have to have a battle between Sean King and Kamau. And shit,
why? I like Sean King.
Because I think it's some light skin shit going on.
Well, only one of us.
Lightsabers.
Only one of us. You talking shit, B? I mean, don't think that your yellow teeth is. I mean, what's going on? About as light as they get up in this bitch.
Heavy melodies. But go ahead.
Bro, but anyway, we're gonna talk about some serious topics when we get back, because we're gonna talk about like what I consider like black gender wars that are playing out real life during this time period. How black men are being treated, in terms of social justice movements, and whether or not black men are being set up to take the fall if Trump happens to win. And then we got our what?
That's what we talking about?
We're going to be talking about some deep shit tonight, B.
Shit, we're going to get excommunicated. The Me Too movement going to come in and personally smack the shit out of Kamau.
Oh!
I'm going to be sitting in the back like, yo, I told that nigga.
That's what you going to
me. You know what I'm saying?
You not going to talk? You had no views?
I'm going to be like, me too, motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. Shit. I don't like what he said either.
Oh, goddamn.
Anyway.
there's a switch.
But
then we
also,
got what else we got? Talk about it.
Shout out to all our people in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When we say fuck the police, we're not just talking about local police, and we're not just talking about white cops, because some of y'all get it twisted. Be like, well, black people kill black people too. Fuck them too. You understand what I'm saying? But we say fuck the police from New York to Nigeria, from LA to Lagos.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's a lot of shit going on around the world. I think they said 56 people have been murdered over the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
So we stand by our comrades, brothers and sisters, and citizens in Nigeria, and we say fuck that government.
That's right.
Because it's an imperialist fucking government as well, and they take cues and notes from these European allies and friends and
that's right.
and their mother countries and whatnot.
A dictatorship is a dictatorship is a dictatorship is a dictatorship. Right. If it ain't for black liberation, we not down with it.
Yeah,
fuck them.
So fuck them.
That's
fuck
right.
SARS.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a special What the Fuck segment, and our musical guest is going to be?
A musical guest tonight. He's not just a musical guest.
Oh,
he's
my bad.
fucking Brother Daud.
Oh.
That's your goddamn mind.
I
just say
Beloved
musical
Daud.
guest. You say,
my bad.
This man right here, he record live here at Playback Sound.
Yes, he is.
You know what I'm saying?
One of the originators.
Hey, man, an originator, you know what I'm saying?
True.
And now there, he wanted 144,000 chosen.
Oh!
And every time I see him, he got at least 143,000 cats with him.
That's right.
He don't like his goddamn music. He gonna put his motherfucking foot so far up your ass, your breath gonna smell like sneaker soul.
Oh!
Just tell him what the fuck
goddamn, though. So
Shout
that was
out Brother Daud.
That was
Brother
a lie.
Daud, you got my check?
Oh,
okay,
goddamn,
good. Let's
no.
go.
Yo, Renegade Coach here. We're going to take a break and be right back.
We out.
Look at the cool. Look at the cool. Look at the cool. Always cooning for you. Look at the cool. Come and look at the cool. Look at the cool. Always cooning for you. We got race soldiers driving up and down the street, looking for a big dick today. Will it be you that gets pulled over for a broken down line, and then they blowing out your brains, and then here come the coons? Oh, look at the coons. Wow, because we're living under the system of a white supremacy, of a white supremacy. Look at the coons. Come and look at the coons. Look at the coons. Always cooning for you. Look at the coons. Come and look at the coons. Look at the coons. Always cooning for you.
Here's another story about a nigga like me. Never should have been let out the penitentiary. Fuck Ice Cube. Anyway.
Oh!
You ain't gonna disrespect Q.
I know.
I can't disrespect Cube.
Nah, not for
Fuck
the lyrics.
Cube.
It's a nuance. There's a
50 Cent,
nuance.
all these niggas. And me saying fuck Cube, I want him to get this clear. I don't give a fuck about who he talked to, Democrat, Republican, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I think the man has the right to speak to whoever the fuck he need to speak to. I'm just saying fuck him just on GP.
Just on general. What's the general principle, though? What's the general principle?
Because the motherfucker
There's
ain't
some
did-
nuance. There's some
he ain't
nuance.
do shit for the black community in the whole fucking
Well,
lot of
that
time.
may be some
and
truth
fuck
in that.
Ice-T, police,
Whoa.
playing ass
Oh,
as
goddamn.
well.
So
all you ice motherfuckers.
every ice motherfucker you
yeah,
gonna
ice
say.
baby, all the motherfuckers. Anyway,
But,
you listen to Renegade Culture where you get froze the fuck up. Coming
whoa, fuck all the
Anyway,
ISIS in the world.
Yeah.
Yo, so Renegade Culture, yo, we back. Our guest is here, Torian Walker. Brother Torian, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
All right, thank you so much. So I just want to do a brief intro. Torian Walker is the founder and editor of Context Media Group. He's a writer, journalist, social media influencer with over 50 bylines and publications, including Teen Vogue, Huffington Post, Splinter, Race Bait, and a whole bunch of other places. And brother, we want to thank you for coming on.
Definitely want to thank you here. Did they just say Teen Vogue?
Yeah, I was like Teen Vogue. B.
The man said Teen Vogue.
Teen Vogue is, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Teen Vogue is all something radical though, right? They got like, they're doing some radical shit or something.
They were when I was writing for them. They had this sister who was really serious about putting these stories into the public. And yeah, it was a surprising outlet to do that stuff in, but she was doing some really serious stuff. Then she got a gig out in Hollywood, and then that was a wrap.
Okay, so everybody got wrapped up with that shit. He said Teen Vogue, he fucked me up. I'm like, this man went from Teen Vogue to Renegade Culture. He was belling like a motherfucker.
Know what I'm saying?
Now, if you go from Renegade Culture to Teen Vogue, then that mean we fucking up. But anyway,
it's on the come up.
good to have you in the building, man. How's everything going though?
Everything is good, man. Everything is crazy busy, but with all the stuff going on, there's no rest for the weary, man. But it's good though. I'm in a good
no
space.
rest for the weary.
No,
See, they don't know where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? Well, that whole
phase, you know that?
Yeah,
you know about
we do.
that?
Anyway, fuck that.
Oh, goddamn.
So let's talk about this shit. What do we got going here?
Well, I mean, first I want to do a little intro about who you are in terms of like some of your background. So you can tell us a little bit about what context media is, how you started it, and what's the purpose of it.
Well, I started context media because, like I said, I was working in mainstream media for a really long time. And I got into mainstream media around the time that Mike Brown got murdered in Ferguson. So I was doing a lot of stories about, police brutality, the protest movement, and that sort of stuff. But a lot of my stories had to go through editors that didn't have any kind of understanding of what the culture is. So I had to fight damn near every step of the way to get a story out, whether it was in Baltimore or St. Louis, wherever. And, I've realized that if you have a phone and you have access to technology, you can write your own story and you don't have to worry about anybody digging into your stuff and trying to tell you what to do. So I said, you know what, let me just start something to see where it goes, and it's been pretty good.
That's dope.
And I was going to bring up also, and you have developed some, like a relationship with Kaepernick in terms of producing, or at least showing some of his stuff. Like you had a call when he came to Atlanta to do a workout and stuff like that. So tell us how that relationship began and why you as an independent journalist have been able to work with Kaepernick when others haven't.
Well, really the way that came about was, when he started doing his protests, a lot of people in the mainstream, well, let me say this first. There were a lot of people in the mainstream media who really wanted to tell his story and were backing him, but they couldn't because they had gatekeepers. So what he did was he started looking out for people who were independent black journalists who, I guess his people were like looking for people who weren't afraid to tell his story. And I was home one day with the day that he came to do his workout, and I got a call from his people and said, hey, Torrin, are you in town? I'm like, yeah, I'm in town. Kaepernick's doing this work. I need most independent media there. Will you be there? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. So I showed up, and there were quite a few other journalists there. I noticed that what he was doing and what his people were doing, they had mainstream there because anything he does is gonna be news.
Yeah. Right.
So, what he did was he had the people who were in the mainstream on one level, and the people who were close to the people, he had them close to him. And I thought, that's dope what he's doing. So we ended up, I ended up getting some footage. We actually talked for a little bit about what he's got planned and everything like that, and so we've been able to maintain a relationship from that point going on.
It's dope. It's dope. So that was the practice they was talking about from the training.
Yeah, that was the one where they wanted to do it at the Falcons field.
Right.
But they sent that waiver in that says if he gets hurt or whatever, they're not responsible for it.
Right.
And that was what the sticking point about him moving it from where he moved it to down in South Atlanta.
Right.
They tried to make it seem like he was being a diva and that sort of thing. But no, I mean, if he's not a player, if he's not signed to a team, he does a workout and gets hurt, they're off the hook pretty much. So that's what that was really about.
So that was their way of saying, we're gonna do this for show, but in reality, we it's still fuck you.
Yeah, we
Pretty
still not
much.
gonna sign you. Yeah.
Cool.
And so I want to get deep into something that I think is big on social media. In fact, you probably have helped make it big, and have made some things go viral recently, which is around how black men, in particular, have been sort of portrayed in this moment by sort of like not only white liberals, but a liberal class, a liberal elite, in terms of his sort of interfacing with the black community. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna start off with the Trump thing, just because this is sort of omnipresent. You put out a tweet a little while ago that talked about it feels like there's gonna be a setup to blame black men if Trump loses based on sort of the percentages of black men who said they're supporting Trump and so forth. At least people have been putting that story out there. So why don't you explain a little bit about the tweet and what you think could happen in terms of black men potentially being blamed if Trump wins the election, and what you mean by that?
And also, who would be behind that? Because it didn't just come out of thin air.
Yeah. Basically the tweet was my reaction to seeing how people were moving on social media when the conversation moved into like black male voters and that sort of thing. There was no information, or there was no real conversation about, reaching out to black men as a voting bloc and trying to find out what their needs are. What I saw was people who, I like to call them blue checks on social media. They're basically journalists who are verified journalists, but they write for blogs and they write for like white media. I saw this narrative starting to take shape about like black men are complete patriarchs and they don't want to really share any kind of power with black women. They want to be close to white men. I saw that happen, and so I said, okay, what's happening right here is they don't really want to deal with this horrible, these candidates that they have. What they're going to do is set up this situation where like these candidates are so bad that there's a very good chance that they're not going to win. I'm talking about Biden and Harris. If that happens, they're going to blame that on black men. even though only maybe 11% of black men have an approval rating for Trump. I'm sorry, no, it's 19%.
Yeah.
19% according to
19% for black men and 11% for black
yeah,
women.
according to the Gallup poll. So when I saw that, I just put that out, and the minute I put that out, I started getting a lot of pushback from some of the people I was talking about. They were saying, "You're being a hater. Why are you not listening to black women?" And it wasn't so much that I wasn't listening to black women. I just wasn't listening to them, and that's what they had an issue with. So that's what's been happening. If you go back and look over social media for the past week or so, everything I predicted came to pass. Every day somebody's showing up on social media saying, "Hey, why are black men like this?" I feel like black men just really want patriarchy and they just want to share space with white men. And this is coming from people who share way more space with white men than anybody else has, if you want to get into that. But so that's really what that was about. So I was just trying to like make people aware that this fix is in for this sort of thing. This narrative is going to take shape, so just be aware of it. Yeah. So that's what that was about.
Yeah, the crazy part to me is that since when is 18 or 19% some huge number when you have, again, 81, and again, I'm not even saying Biden is obviously he's not some idea candidate,
right.
But you have 81 to 82% of black men who will probably vote for Biden. You have 89% of black women who will probably vote for Biden. And so you have basically something that people always claim that we're not, right? This monolithic of black voters who are voting for one candidate, but yet folks have decided that this is an opportunity to sort of divide and conquer or create some space between black men and black women. And that seems to be part of what's happening on social media. And again, whether or not it's for, I think what you're alluding to, because there's sort of this liberal elite that's kind of saying, let's lift up black women, who I think should be lifted up because there is a history of patriarchy in our movements and our history, but let's lift them up to a point where they're siding with white women and white men who think of themselves as liberal, who have some sort of social justice agenda, and all of a sudden make black men the outcasts within that, particularly black men, and using like a small percentage of black men, I should say, to sort of justify this larger, what seems to be this larger attack on black men.
So do you think that this whole thing is them following the whole if you don't vote for Biden and you ain't black type position? Because it seems like they fed into that whole particular narrative by it's like it was a subliminal message and shit. The motherfucker cast out there like, if you don't vote for this, then you ain't that. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like that particular type thing. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think that's it. I think that's I think what Biden said was a symptom of watching that.
Right.
Because what you're seeing now, this narrative has been going on for a very long time. It's been going on for at least 5 years now. To be honest with you, it started happening around about the time that Ferguson became a situation and everybody became aware of what was going on with police brutality. There was a narrative that took shape that kind of moved that. If you go back and look at the original, what happened in Ferguson, what you saw were people from the streets, black men, black women, black kids. It didn't matter what your identity was, if you were black, and even some white allies and some people who were people of color were out there fighting against the police. Somehow, what happened was that narrative got shifted off of police brutality into this thing about identity and about gender and this sort of thing, and that was not what people were out there about. So what you're seeing right now is just a manifestation of something that happened 4 or 5 years ago.
Right. Now with that, do you think that was due to the lack of organization? Because we were in Ferguson as well, and we saw a lot of marching up and down the street by certain factions. It was just like, I mean, it was like literally like this one block where motherfuckers is turn around. And then you have in the church, you had the Sharptons and the Jacksons and all these other trolls. Do you think that them being out there was part of the problem as far as just the whole lack of a organizational structure? Because I don't think there was any structure out there. There was so many different groups that grew out of that particular piece. And I think the only true organizers out there were the grassroots who actually were raised up from that particular piece. But since they didn't have, they weren't as politically astute as some of these other folks that moved in, I don't know, do you think that was part of the whole the opening?
No, here's the thing. I think the people who were on the ground in Ferguson were very organized as far as like on a local level. The people who came to prominence out of Ferguson were very organized. They were way more organized than they were.
Right.
And they had a lot of backing that people still can't qualify where the backing came from. That's what happened with that. You know, the people who were living in Ferguson, if you were in Ferguson, then you know how Ferguson is. Ferguson is serious. It's like, it's a day-to-day struggle to survive in Ferguson. It's real. So if you are out there every day risking your life, you're really thinking about you really think about what your next moment is going to be. You don't have time to set up GoFundMes. You don't have time to worry about when CNN's going to come. You don't have time to organize all that stuff. The people who showed up knew how to do that.
Right.
That's what the problem was. So it wasn't that people weren't organized. They just weren't organized on the level of the people that came in and changed that narrative.
Right.
And I think part of it is, I mean, even prior to Ferguson, we had Trayvon Martin, which is really sort of like when the hashtag of Black Lives Matter in particular sort of took off and became this umbrella thing. And then under Ferguson, it exploded, right?
Yeah.
And it exploded to where, again, there was no longer any, it's almost like the grassroots groups, the folks on the ground, because all of this was local organizing. And then all of a sudden it became this umbrella term that the media picked up on, that liberal foundations picked up on, and all the resources started going, like you're saying, to these larger national groups, and not to the folks on the ground, which became part of the struggle where you've had a lot of fractions and interactions with folks on the ground saying that, you know, like these movements weren't made for somebody to helicopter in, claim they were doing this, claim they were doing that. The larger, again, national funding goes to them, they leave, and we're still stuck with the problems.
Yeah.
And that feels like part of what's happening. And then another part, we're going to take a break real quick, that I want to get to really seriously when we come back, and I think you and some others have been talking about this, pointing this out, is that even in the police brutality movement, there's this idea of lifting up dead black men, but black men who are alive cannot get involved or be in leadership in social justice movements. And I know that's kind of controversial, but I wanted to like dig deep into that and talk a little bit about what that means, and what is the social justice movement that's happening right now as you see it and as we all see it. So.
Okay, look at Kamau trying to start some shit over here.
All right.
Anyway, we listen to Renegade Coach. We'll be back to back. Fuck back.
What the man no suffer we Yalla carry malice we Peter want to offer we Kajuana and crew nothing about them. Say them a acti them a people. And none of them not ready for the bashman crew. Me say all some of them want glue. No man na feature for them avenue too. Them a lost suffer we Yalla carry malice to me
When I hear whoop whoop, I be ducking them hoes. Anyway,
the fuck is that?
Renegade coaches, we're in the building.
I don't know what
this man don't know nothing about no revolutionary music.
Oh, yeah.
He was somewhere else. Shout out to DPs, you know what I'm saying? I know you don't know nothing about Dead Prez.
No, why would I? I only represented them, you know what I'm saying?
You did represent them.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's all I did.
When I was talking to them, they like, yo, Kalonji,
they love
we're gonna
me.
give you a percentage. But this motherfucker right here.
I took 80%. So he back with brother Torin.
There you go.
I fucked up his name. I was calling him. I've known the brother for like, shut the fuck up. I've known him for 3 years. I keep calling him Torian, and so on the air now he wants to correct me.
I mean, well, the man.
My bad.
It's not as bad as some I've heard, so it's all
He
good.
like, look, I usually don't even pay attention to this motherfucker.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Pretty much. He like, Torian.
Like, leave me alone.
Who is this dude?
Like, who's an old dude
Anyway,
following around?
come on, shut the fuck up. We back to Renegade Culture with Torin Walker right here.
Thank you, bro.
Who ripping the goddamn tweets up and shit.
Yeah.
Doing tight buys on these motherfuckers, laying them all the way out, flatting them, fucking them up. Tonight he talking about some real controversial shit.
I know.
Because of the fact that it's kind of illegal to speak out about the issues that's going on as black men here in America. You know what I'm saying? Because often, like you said earlier, if you disagree with someone, if you disagree with certain women, then automatically you are a patriarch. And that's not always the case. Some men don't know what the fuck they talking about, and some women don't know what the fuck they talking about. You don't get no motherfucking award for being the first black fucking motherfucker to get the answer wrong on Jeopardy, motherfucker. You just wrong.
Hey, Kamau, what was that short question you
Oh, goddamn.
I like how you interrupt me. Goddamn. Test tube, baby. Anyway.
Well, you know what? First, I wanted to go back and finish up this Trump thing because I think my brother Server brought something up that was good. So this Ice Cube 50 Cent thing, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the What the Fuck segment. But I unite with like some of the stuff I thought Ice Cube was at least trying to do. I didn't think he necessarily did it in the most artful way. But do you think, I know folks went out and attacked him again on this issue about the monolith and all that kind of stuff. Did you see like any value in what Ice Cube was trying to do? And what did you think about some of the retorts to Ice Cube in terms of challenging both Biden and Trump?
Well, yeah, look, I see value in any people who are trying to get tangibles for black people. I don't care where you go to try to get that. Now, what I think is anything going to come out of that? Who knows? Most likely not. But I think the fact that he was able to try to I won't say bridge the gap because that's a corny ass statement, but I think the fact that whether the plan was good or not, I think the fact that he went out there and said that I went to Biden, they told me to wait till after the election. I went over to the Trump camp and they said, well, let's take a look at it. We need to get out of this idea of being loyal to parties and be loyal to black people. So that's why I think the value in that was.
And that was interesting because later on it came out that Biden was talking to Republicans about trying to get them in his cabinet. And those same folks, whether or not they black men, black women, or whatever, white folks, who jumped on Cube have not now jumped on Biden, who's actually welcoming right-wing Republicans into his cabinet. And the only thing Cube said was, again, I think he did it inartfully, was that, Trump responded to my shit and Biden just told me to wait till the fucking election is over and then I'll try to talk to you.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he was trying to report.
Yeah.
He was really trying to say, look, man, I went to this motherfucker and this goofy motherfucker said this, and then I went to this motherfucker and this goofy motherfucker said such and such. And Trump, what Cube didn't realize was that when you're dealing with the devil, the devil's the devil all the fucking time. So they're gonna take whatever it is you have, the sound bites and all that shit, flip the shit, next thing you know, you're an enemy to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the problem here is oftentimes these artists have no politics. And you expect folks to speak for you who can't even speak for their damn self. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I say fuck Cube still. You know what I'm saying? And fuck the haters and the detractors.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because if you look at Cube's history, man, you go back to even when he was still an artist, when he broke away from NWA. Yeah. After he dropped America's Most Wanted, the next thing he dropped was Death Certificate, and he had Khalid Muhammad, and he had a lot of politics that were radical at the time. You know what I mean? If you go back and listen to it.
Look, if I go back and listen to it, I just listen to the shit.
You just listen to it?
I was, and I agree with that part, but that was then. If we're gonna use that particular point, then we'll say that Bobby Rush was a Panther back in the 60s. Right now, he a fucking sellout politician in the joint. You don't get props for what you used to do. You know what I'm saying? That's like, I got a problem with motherfuckers be talking about I used to be in the movement. I used to organize. I don't respect movement dropouts. The war's still on. You know what I mean? So what he did before, that was great. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? But he went from Death Certificate to all this other shit. He trying to be Hollywood right now. He want to know, are we there yet? He don't care nothing about all the other shit.
Well, all his solutions are just black capitalist based.
And that's all it is. And that's all it is. So it's not that we don't, we're not throwing, my point, I'm not throwing away the baby with the bathwater. But look, because I'm up here tonight and I might be talking some righteous shit, and I go out tomorrow and rob a couple motherfuckers just because, you ain't gonna say, well, shit, the podcast is great. You know what I'm saying?
But some people might. They might parse that out.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say, man, people will excuse anything if they like you enough.
Of course, absolutely. I agree with that.
So let's get back to this other such report that's happened in the movement over the last 5 or 6 years too, that you've talked about a lot, is whether or not black men are only loved when we're sort of victims of police brutality. And when we're live, there seems to be some emphasis to say, to sort of shut up and get in line. And you've talked a little bit about that. You want to expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, I've talked a lot about that. I think that's definitely a thing. There are people who insinuated themselves in the movement work who will show up at the second that some black man dies at the hand of the police, but they have absolutely no love and they have no respect for living black men, to the point where you can't even open your mouth in certain spaces. I'm gonna go back to Ferguson. When that happened, I was able to get close to a lot of people who I thought at the time were really serious about putting in work and were trying to build in communities and that sort of thing. And I could almost see the rhetoric starting to change from we need to get justice for black people, and it wasn't just for black men. It was just the fact that so many black men were being murdered and being brutalized by the police. Yeah. That's where the focus was, and that's where everybody went. So I saw the conversations begin to move from let's get justice, let's try to pass legislation, let's march if we got to, let's tear it up if we got to. It started moving out of that into this whole thing about well, if you're a certain gender, if you believe in a certain identity, then you need to speak and nobody else can speak, or you're more qualified to speak more than anybody else. And if you were a man and you were alive, then you pretty much were getting frozen out of that. And to the point where now you can't even open your mouth if you're a man and you're a black man and try to say anything in any kind of movement space, you'll get rushed out of it. I've seen it. I don't know where that came from. I have a couple of ideas, but it's definitely a thing. You know what I mean? And these are people who, a lot of these people, if you go back and look at their histories, they have either some sort of personal trauma that they're dealing with, or they have some sort of issues that they've grown up with, or they have some sort of issue in movement spaces where they felt like they were being marginalized and pushed out. And there is a history of that with certain people. There is a level of patriarchy in certain spaces, but that's not a blanket thing by any stretch of the imagination. And I think these people are using that, and they're using that sort of rhetoric to try to push themselves, and that doesn't do anything for the people.
Pushing the envelope. Is it a coincidence that this whole Black Lives Matter movement began to really take form during that particular, during Ferguson?
I believe so.
And the particular rhetoric that they use, do you think that that has something to do with it as far as just that whole, we're switching these gears? And I know that that's a controversial statement, but you know, I'm not afraid to speak, you know, in front of any fucking body. And if it hurts your feelings, then your feelings are just hurt because of the fact that I agree with you. I've been in many places where it's like you can't speak if you are a straight black male. You know what I mean? And that's not to disrespect anyone else. I'm just saying you can't use your motherfucking pain on me. You can't transfer it to me to make you feel good. That shit ain't fair either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely what happened. I think what people get twisted is that there's the idea of Black Lives Matter, which is the slogan that just says Black Lives Matter, and then there's the organization Black Lives Matter. They are two totally different things.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was very good marketing to put that together because it's an idea that nobody really, you know, if you really believe in humanity and you believe in humanism, nobody is going to have an issue with the phrase Black Lives Matter. But when you have an organization that uses that and they use that as its name, and they use that to push all kind of agendas through that have absolutely nothing to do with rank and file, poor and working class black people, it's hard to fight against that. So to answer your question, yeah, I think when that organization began to form or began to take prominence in Ferguson over the other organizations, that's definitely when it happened. And if you look at who runs that organization, and if you look at who funds that, it'll make sense.
Okay.
I mean, I think one of the things that always comes up for me is, so I think a correction is okay. Like, I think there is a history within black movements of black men like being overrepresented in leadership, right? And I think some of the patriarchy, particularly like even within black revolutionary and black power movement spaces, is real. So I do see, you know, some need to make sure that other voices, LGBTQ women and so forth, get to share and lead in different spaces. But I think what my issue becomes is, I think, similar to what you guys are hitting on too, is that it's one thing to say that we need to share leadership and be respectful and understand the harm and hurt that may have been caused both past and present. It's another thing to sort of say that you no longer can have any leadership, right, or that any ideas you have don't matter, because now the only thing that matters is representation. Yeah. And I think that's the sort of rub that I think, particularly like younger organizers, there's pushback and disagreement and discussion. Some of it is good, but some of it gets into my feelings get hurt, and then I'm gonna call you an oppressor, right? Because I don't agree with you and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think that becomes, for me, the part of the discussion and debate where we don't necessarily come to like a good place where we're having these good, like, you know, these good discussions and ideas of exchange, where instead it gets to be like, oh, I don't agree with you, you're oppressing me, and so therefore shut the fuck up and move out.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, man. It's to the point where, like, if you make somebody feel bad, then automatically you're an oppressor. Yeah. And if you're in any kind of political space, if you're in a business space, if you're in any space, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have you're going to have hardcore arguments. Mm-hmm. As long as it's respectful and you both understand that you're trying to get to a common goal, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you silence people who you claim to be helping, or silence people who you say are oppressed, but you're basically oppressing them by not letting them speak, what good are you?
Yeah. So we're gonna be right back with our third segment of Renegade Culture. My man, Torin.
Yeah.
I was saying.
Finally got it right. All right. Finally. Finally.
So we got to a break, gonna be like, I'm gonna have a drink and be like, yo, Torian, brother. What you
like Torian.
I'm gonna fuck it up again. Yo, Renegade Culture, we're gonna be right back.
Wow.
Never found my place in the crowd, so I stayed from the crowd. They laughed at me then, but look at their faces right now. Jigga gave me the blueprint. I've been tracing it out, never chasing the clout. I'm just embracing my route, never catchy worshiping false idols. How you flexing in the rental with no car title? And when it come to street credit, you got a low FICO. But you know I'm a smooth criminal like the GOAT Michael. Really my psyche like Michael Myers, my flow psycho. If your intentions ain't genuine, I just don't like you. Who said I ain't good in the hood? I just stroll right through. Fuck what you heard, niggas know that I've been cold like flu, so no comparisons, cause I'm the rarest one. I got respect for some niggas, I just ain't scared of none. Why every time when they need some help, I be there for them. But every time when the tables turn, I ain't hearing none. That's just how it is. 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 Yeah, that's
You know what? Repeat this. Lottie-dottie. We like to party. We don't cause trouble when we...
Don't bother nobody.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Man.
Okay, Kamau finally know one of the songs. Anyway.
I mean, when you actually are, like, got the melody.
Come on, that's
right,
Slick Rick, son. You got to
check like you
Well,
know,
yeah, I mean,
man.
he did it right that time. So
I did it right that time.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you.
Whatever
that means.
You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, we're sitting here with our guests. I am Kalonji Changa alongside.
Kamau K. Franklin.
And we have...
The ear doctor.
In the building. And we have my man, Torrin Walker. Kamau finally got his name right. Been knowing the man for 13 years and
That's
shit.
my man.
Dude wanted the black Kamau eye and shit. He called me up. He like, yo, this nigga say my name wrong, son. I'm stepping up. He like, yo, I'm wearing some burgundy kicks, so I gotta step up in his rectum. Nah, I mean, you already know what it is.
That's why he hasn't been retweeting my shit, man. He's like, nigga, say my name wrong.
Say my name. Say my name.
Say my name.
Tobin.
Oh,
No, not Tobin, motherfucker.
Tobin.
Anyway, speaking of Tobin.
Jeffrey Tobin.
He
You know
was
who that
whipping it
is?
too.
Yes, Jeffrey Tobin playing with his tuba.
Oh.
On Zoom.
So the CNN legal expert, right, who's been on the air, who's written books, he's like, somebody who's...
Lying-ass bastard.
Well, I don't know if he's a lying-ass bastard, but he's a well-known pundit and intellectual. And apparently he was on a call at another gig he had.
Trying to get a Pornhub job.
On Zoom.
Yes.
And he didn't know the Zoom was on.
Trying to blow his own tuba.
And so apparently, and this is our What the Fuck segment if y'all haven't discovered that or whatever like
He
that.
didn't realize it yet.
And he didn't realize that the Zoom camera was on, and my man was...
Wait, hold it.
He was...
Pee Wee Herman.
He was doing his Pee
He
Wee
was
Herman
doing the Pee Wee
impersonation.
Herman, though.
Yo, they got him
no,
recorded with tweezers and everything.
Oh!
He's a white man. But anyway, listen. So, this motherfucker right here, this nasty bastard. Now, all the fucking Zoom calls we knew. I mean, the ear doctor knew how to operate Zoom.
Oh!
What are you, CNN?
There was one time when he did turn the camera off real fast.
He did.
Oh, like, goddamn.
Yeah, interrupt everything. But anyway, how the fuck you don't know that, first of all,
that the Zoom is on?
whether it's on or not?
Why are you doing it right there?
Nigga, I mean, who the fuck is the guest that you saw?
Or after?
He's like, I mean, what the fuck? That's a true what the fuck. I mean, I understand you was watching Edison Cooper on the other goddamn joint. You decide to start playing with your wee-wee. I don't understand it, man. Maybe Kamau know.
Fuck you. And then my man had to come out with an apology. He's like, I apologize to my wife, yeah, you better apologize, motherfucker.
You nasty
You
motherfucker.
just fucked up your like $500,000 a year job at
Jeffrey.
CNN.
Oh my
Jeffrey, you
$300
nasty.
job.
You nasty motherfucker. You nasty bastard. He's just beating his meat, man.
Oh, goddamn, that's so
I mean,
crazy.
that's what the fuck he was doing.
So speaking about somebody who's like a meat beater,
What the
fuck? I was saying, what the fuck?
He's gonna
So
beat
your
me.
man, 50 Cent.
Oh, the man said 50 was
50
meat
Cent.
beater.
Yo, 50 Cent, because he
50.
looked over Joe Biden's tax plan, so he claimed.
Yes, he
And
claims.
he read some article about it and said that the tax rates for rich people would go up for too much.
Yes.
And so therefore, he's no longer going to vote for Biden. He's actually going to vote for fucking Trump.
The man said he don't want to be 20 Cent.
Yeah.
He want to be 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
Now,
Word.
I know that certain
We're going to bash
radio
this black
shows
man.
and all
this
this
black
shit.
man deserves to be bashed.
He deserved to be bashed?
This black man in particular.
Oh, man.
You
Can
unite
we
with
bash
that?
50
You
Cent?
uniting? You uniting?
Torrin's like, I don't agree with
What?
with that.
What?
I'm gonna sit over here and chill.
Hey,
Man.
hey, Torrin over there. Hey, here go Torrin. Torrin, like, listen, if you go back to his first album, 21 Questions,
It was the bomb.
now he won't get quiet. Torrin, stop that shit, man.
Yo,
Anyway,
can you not relate because you don't make that much money? Like, yo, dude's gonna be all in my pockets. I ain't fucking with him. A lot of
This
people,
motherfucker.
yo, hold up.
That Jay-Z nigga right
Hold
there.
up.
It's that Jay-Z dude.
A lot of people are voting for Trump just
Somebody
about their dollars.
slapped the
Because of who?
producer.
Because of
About
what?
their dollars in their pocket. They like, yo,
About
we
that
want to keep
dollar.
our money.
That's true, but they're just getting quiet about it. They won't talk about it, but they best believe they're doing it, and some of them are black.
Yeah.
That's right. Uh-oh, Torrin speaking. Torrin, are you for the black man or against the black
Black
man?
man. Apparently, I don't know. I understand.
Torrin rolling whichever way the wind blows.
But right now, though, Torrin's like, we're black man, no matter what.
We
I
all black,
understand.
my brothers.
50
Anyway, listen.
Cent.
I'm just saying.
Fuck 50 Cent.
Yeah, fuck 50 Cent.
That's the official Renegade culture position. Fuck the ear doctor.
Yo, but power is good.
Fuck Power too.
Fuck Power.
The new episodes suck. Nigga. What's that little motherfucker look like a squirrel on there?
That shit ain't been good since the first season.
How the fuck you at a goddamn Ivy League school, and you just happen to have 2 black teachers on that motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of Ivy League.
So check it out. We not Biden fans, obviously.
Yeah, fuck Biden.
But we certainly ain't fucking with Trump.
Fuck Biden, Kamala Harris, Trump, 50 Cent,
Pence,
Ice Cube, goddamn Ice-T.
Ice Cube is nuanced.
Sweet Pea, whoever the fuck.
So, Joe, one more thing on our What the Fuck segment. This is a couple of weeks weeks old, I should say, but one of the founders of the Black Lives Matter movement,
Are you talking about Black Lives Matter again?
We're going to bring it up again, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, my goodness, we're going to get blackballed.
Oh, goddamn.
We're not going to get none of those resources.
We ain't getting that money anyway.
Ah, shit.
So, Patrice Cullors, who's the founder, I said Cullors.
Oh,
Is that it right?
I thought about Ice-T.
Oh, you back with Ice-T again, you know what I'm saying? So she recently got a TV deal, I think, with Warner Brothers to produce media shows and so forth. And it just seems a little like, I don't want to shit on nobody getting their money. But, again, the idea that folks who started off doing something around social justice movement work, and now it seems the movement has turned into now a platform.
Entertainment.
Yeah, for folks to come up and, as opposed to opposing capitalist institutions, white supremacy structures, it feels like folks are getting some money off of these things, and the movement thing sometimes takes a back seat.
Now, this is some ill shit, because about 10 years ago, we were invited to participate in a joint where it was like a kind of a real world type thing, where motherfuckers wanted to follow us around, day-to-day activism and all that. And we said, fuck that, because of the fact that we know how they do the spins and shit, right? So it's ill that you went from that particular situation, then they had the whole BET Cop Watch program thing going, with most of the motherfuckers on there, we ain't never seen in the streets.
Yeah,
That's
most of them do no work, but I'm just
the majority of them.
Yeah.
But
we like a couple.
Yeah, we do like a couple. We did that shit. I mean, they did that shit, and now they're talking about this sister having, what was that, Warner Brothers or?
Yeah, Warner Brothers, yeah.
Warner Brothers. I mean, Warner Brothers, the motherfuckers with Daffy Duck and goddamn, what's the other motherfucker name?
That'd be Bugs Bunny?
Bugs Bunny, all these motherfuckers. Yeah. So
He's like, I don't remember the black one.
I'm pro-black.
Fuck Bugs Bunny.
Fuck Bugs Bunny, goofy ass rabbit. But anyway, this shit is like wild that this is cool and no one has a problem with it. Or that you even willing to even cut a deal with these motherfuckers talking about for programming. What kind of fucking programming are you going to be having on television?
There won't be any black men on it, I promise you that.
Won't be no black man? Torrance back, goddammit. Torrance said it won't be the black man. It won't be, you can have black families, not nan black man, no black sons, nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I hope the programs are good. I mean, I'm just worried about the idea that again, social movements, right, political movements, are being used, and it's not the first time, and I'm not saying this on purpose, but I'm also saying that people have stepped into a space where these institutions that are white supremacists, that support white folks in control, prominent white characters, and always like these second-tier black characters, that's what's happening, and we're signing deals with them, and we're no longer in the streets talking about what's going on with our people, liberation movements, and so forth. And that's my big thing with it.
That's the Jesse Jackson shit, though.
That's the type, yeah.
With Jesse Jackson, with fucking Pepsi.
Al.
And Al with
Fat
Coke.
Al.
They go make
Fat
these fucking
Al
deals.
and Skinny Al.
Yeah, Fat Al, bobblehead Al, both of them. You know what I'm saying?
We say fuck Al, or you pro Al?
You say fuck Al?
Now I was gonna say something about all that.
Okay, all right, do your thing. All right, now Torrance back.
Now here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with these stories being told. You know what I mean? Because I think these stories do need to get out into the wider world. It's just that the people who are telling these people, what are their motivations? You know what I mean? How have they been behaving with grassroots people before this even happened? You know what I mean? The people who are getting these deals, and she's not the first. She's the first one that's gotten the most prominent, but I guarantee she won't be the last.
Yeah.
We've already seen it already happen. You know, like right after when George Floyd was murdered, all these companies all of a sudden got a conscience, and you started seeing black squares with white writing in them and everything, telling them we're sorry for black people and black murder, but they still haven't hired anybody.
Yeah. That was always a time period where they always start to hire more black folks to do A, B, C, D. And then all of a sudden, after a few years, and the movement has passed or died down or been destroyed, then all those jobs get taken away too.
But these people aren't even getting jobs now. It's just they're getting like a couple of TV deals and they're getting some quote unquote representation, but they're not running anything.
So Torrin, if she calls you and says, "Hey, Terrain,
that ain't happening.
We got a news channel we want you to head up. Would you be heading it or what?
You know what? I do it, but I'm gonna have some conditions. No, hold on. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. I would do it under certain conditions.
Certain conditions.
Yeah.
All right, Q.
I get control over who I bring on.
True.
Okay.
I don't censor me, And if we're going to talk about that, I'm going to bring some people from Ferguson who I know they don't want to see. I'm going to bring them. They're going to be my first guest.
Well, at least you got, I mean, Kalonji just would take the money. He'd be like,
hey, listen, Kamau gonna call me in 2 days. Like, yo, son,
where you at?
You got to deal with Warner Brothers, Renegade culture.
Actually, I like Patrice. I actually hope.
You motherfucker.
I actually do like Patrice a lot.
Ain't got shit to do with the politics.
Well, you don't know what the politics are. So I'm saying that I'm hoping that she does the best with this deal. But I am holding my powder and be like, let's see what happens.
Listen, in the more the words of Stymie from the Little Rascals.
Which is the word?
Phooey.
Yo, Renegade Culture, on that note, we're going to be right back. Yo, thank you, Torian, brother, for coming on.
My pleasure.
We appreciate you.
Always.
Where can they find your work and check you out and all that kind of good stuff?
Contextmedia.com. You can also find me on Twitter, Torian Walker. That's where I am. My social media page is Context Media Group. Any one of those you can get me, especially on Twitter. I'm on there way more than I need to be.
This is the best podcast you've ever been on, isn't it, brother?
No doubt. I've only been on 2, so this is my day.
Okay, goddamn.
Oh, man.
After this is going to be your last podcast.
Yeah. Tori trying to get that WB deal. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the WB.
So when we come back,
we're going to be coming in with man, Brother Daud. You know what I mean? He's going to be stomping through here, wrecking shop. You know what I mean? And right after that, what else we got going on?
That's what we got, nigga. That's the end of the show. Renegade Culture, be right back. Bam.
Renegade Culture, hip hopstery. Y'all know who this is? The BIGDADDYKNE, the Big Daddy Kane, King Asiatic, nobody's equal. Yo, Big Daddy Kane, he started off as a writer with Biz Marquee. In fact, he wrote some of Biz's biggest hits, The Vapors, Pickin' Boogers, and all that. Then he linked up with Marley Marl and became a member of the Juice Crew. Dropped his first album, Long Live the Kane, classic. From the door, brought in a whole new different swag of the way he rhymed and things of that nature. Brought in some of the teachers from the 5% Nation. In fact, the King Asiatic, nobody equal. That's a 5% term, you know what I'm saying? Brought the flat top, the high top fade, as he called it, the cameo cut. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, before Kid and Play and a house party and all that, Big Daddy Kane was Scoop Love and the whole nine. Now, Kane stuck out because not only was he a smooth operator, you know what I'm saying? But he was hardcore. He was battle tested in the whole nine. He was a part, as I said, the world famous Juice Crew. Went on to start in the movie Posse, did some acting, dropped like 6 albums. When he linked up with Teddy Riley for his second album, it's a Big Daddy thing. Yo, that's just showed that he could be hardcore, New Jack Swing, and pop at the same time. So, yo, when you're doing your hip hop story, make sure you understand about Big Daddy Kane. Word.
Brock out. What up? Renegade Coaches in the building.
Yo, how y'all doing out there? Kamau K. Franklin.
Kalonji Changa, your favorite podcast host in the whole goddamn universe.
You couldn't even get those fucking words out.
I didn't have to, because they already knew what the fuck I
was.
Pod Goats.
Okay, I'm glad that you helping this man today. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my CNI cat over there, fucking ear doctor. Helping Kamau get across the street.
Oh, we didn't even say, yo, and where can you get Renegade Culture at? On SoundCloud, renegadeculture.org, Apple Podcasts, on Playback Sounds TV on YouTube.
Just
that's enough, B. That's enough.
Google Play,
Playback TV,
Spotify,
Playback TV.
Yeah, on YouTube.
All
that.
All
anyway,
that.
just go to renegadeculture.org. You find all this other shit out. Anyway.
It's our artist outro. Oh, my bad. I'm stepping on your lines.
You're so fucking stepping on my lines, man.
Go ahead, do that again.
Where the professionals? They in the building?
Oh.
Okay.
Hello?
All right, just in case. Nah. We trying to be friends with them now.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't act like you in the crew, nigga. You ain't in the crew.
I am. I'm
you always, wait,
Shalom.
we
together. Anyway.
You don't see his little medallion. He got a little plastic shit.
He said I got a plastic medallion. Anyway.
Who he got me?
Anyway, musical guest tonight. You know what I'm saying? We got one of from one of our favorite podcasts, the Brewfessionals.
That's right.
You know what I mean? From the Urban Servants. Urban Servants. Now, listen, when the cat tell you they're a servant, then they tell you they urban servant. There's a difference between a regular motherfucking servant.
True.
Regular servant might be getting paid to do what the fuck they do.
True that.
Urban servant, they coming from a higher power. You know what I mean? So that's what the fuck we down with. So this brother right here has like 16 albums out.
16 albums.
16.
4 years.
4 years. 16 and 4 years. Sure. What Dre say when 16 ain't enough? This brother right here just dropped his last piece on October 3rd.
Facts.
And the name of the joint is Brew
Russell.
Brew Russell.
We get it.
Sort of like Bill Russell.
Player coach.
Oh, that means he'll dunk your shit all across fucking Atlanta if you need to. Anyway.
In other words, Beloved Daud is in the building.
Beloved Daud. Ladies and gentlemen, I was waiting for you. I was about to say Brother Daud.
It's the longest fucking intros I ever heard about.
Hey, fuck that. That's Beloved Daud. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
What's happening, man? All good, bless.
We ain't seen in a while, man. Last time I seen you, you ain't had no beard. Your shit was lower than mine.
Oh, nah, man. It's always been like this.
Yeah,
you know who the fuck you talking to?
I've been on we've been on the road, though.
That's what we
right.
Been on the road, been on the road.
That's good, man. That's good.
Most certainly.
You always come with music that touch the soul, literally.
Absolutely.
And Beloved Daud's like one of the coolest brothers you gonna meet. Like this whole facade,
the smooth
energy
thing,
right here,
smooth
this
thing.
how the fuck he is.
It's not
Every
a
time
facade,
he
it's
say,
the smooth
he's like,
thing.
yeah, man, this what the fuck we doing, man.
He's like, I'm smooth.
Man, I step on my motherfucking sneakers.
He's like, I'm smooth with mine, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he'll do it like Kamau do it. But
here we go.
It's a little smooth.
Yo, 16 albums. What is this 17th about? How many?
The 17th is gonna be on the 17th.
17th of October.
November.
Okay.
Oh, so you got another one you dropping right now?
Yeah, I've dropped one this month, and then I'm dropping another one next month. Yeah, I'm trying to get I'm just trying to.
You ain't trying. You doing.
Yeah.
You got 17 albums, like shit.
Right. So,
I mean, how you come up with 17 albums worth of material? I mean, you just go in the lab and smoke like a big ass spliff and be like, it's an album. How that work?
Nah, I actually it just from day to day. So I take. My days ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, if like when I wake up, I don't feel like, okay, I'm finna do the regular thing everybody do. So I just try to embrace, you know what I'm saying? Get ready to accept and then take what I have to take in. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a businessman, I'm all these things. So I just try to get ready for that, just prepare. So with the album, that's what that is. So if I prepared and this what happened, I just try to, the obstacles and that was presented to me, how I got over the hump, I just try to give somebody else a little advice.
So if you was gonna sum up like Brew Russell, this album 16, what would the inspiration for it be? And also, is there a story behind it or is it just?
Nah, man, it's just like if I'm saying be good, I'm just saying be good 16 times. That's it. I'm just trying to express, say the same message, just in a more catchier way. Word. Yeah, until it just strikes a flame. So it's like that.
So, brother, you here at the perfect time, because what we do is we do a bold question from Naka, and I feel like with your chill demeanor, you might be one of the few people who's going to understand what Naka's trying to say, right? Okay. So I'm gonna give you a little bit. So our bold question, our brother from Morris Brown. I don't know if he graduated, but who cares? It doesn't matter.
African Studies degree. How many times I gotta tell you?
You did graduate. My bad. Oh, my bad.
No disrespect.
I got a little college studies though.
Yeah. I'm sure yours is better than his, man. You understand? So we got like 12 questions in here. You pick out one of the questions, and then you read it out loud, and then you're gonna get the first chance to answer. We're gonna see what's going on.
Okay.
So dig deep in that bowl, brother.
You may not be able to read what the fuck he's saying.
I want the camera to see.
Braille and shit.
There's like 35 questions up in there. Oops. My bad.
Does American politics affect your lifestyle?
American politics.
Okay, he tried to put that together.
I see that. Yeah, okay. But see that's why I attack the world differently because I don't think like an American. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So from a cultural aspect, which is something that distinguishes a person, I try not to think like an American, so I don't approach life like an American. So I'm trying to make something else great. Mm-hmm. So if I keep my people on my mind, I'm gonna eventually make them great. So American politics is not for me in way like it wasn't designed for me, made for me to put me up. But this over here made for me to be king. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather focus on being king over here because eventually this gonna deteriorate and fall like every other society that ate itself up.
Sorry, that's
a great answer.
Deep answer from a dumbass with a good question.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
That was really good. That was about self-determination. You know what I mean? Not getting caught up in an American matrix.
Absolutely.
Did you like his answer, sir?
I loved it.
I bet you do.
Babylon is falling.
I know. That's because you got 12 people behind you and shit. Even if you didn't like it, you're gonna like it tonight. Like, all right, I like that. He could have said, bum skilly, bum, and you be like, oh, this shit was
That was great, man. That was a great
Anyway.
answer. Yeah. So when we come back from our break, yo, my man gonna get down. He gonna do a song for us. You know what you gonna do?
Yeah, man, it's called NBA.
All right.
National Brewing Association, though.
National Brewing Association, and we're gonna stick around and see if we got some brews after the shit's over.
Nope.
Know what I mean?
Hey.
We wanna make sure the
Hey.
association is up to par.
Nope.
Renegade coaching.
Yo, thank y'all for joining us. Peace.
Black Eye.
Yeah.
Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah. Dodging on blocking no layup. Made these vows, gotta pay up. Still stay down on the way up. A big thing for the prayer. Salt pack, ooh, got the flavor. Poor man still be my neighbor. Sit one tree, bring the favor. It got that good like cater. Dunking on blocking no layup. Made these vows, gotta pay up. Still stay down on the way up. A big thankful for the prayers. Salt pack, ooh, got the flavor. Store man still be my neighbor. Sit one tree, bring the favor. It got that good like cater. Exclusive commodity, we got control. This a monopoly. Devil repellent, division improper, no low on top of me. Steps are not choppy, house are not rocky, I am still poppy. Never get weary, I answer the answer and get it no serious. Can't Google your who, is it Google Beloved, you see how I'm served. True make them nervous, I am a stoner, posting on Acorn. Lingo, stone, nigga tablet, firm and light, ooh, I am a maverick. Pressure applied, bullet out way in me and the God. Whether be tall, my life look pretty good when you go the true route. Thumb and Genesis numbers, walking this E5, preach from the east side. Brewing fanatic, they say they know crazy, the brew really padded. The kingdom we added and go through the process to get it established. Stick through the madness and burn through the fatness, you know I ain't capping. The rule out the captain and show me some things that I never imagined. I am a gentleman, make it a classic. That finally get cut off in hell, like Tiffany Haddish. Still stay down on the way up. I'm big thankful for the prayers. Salt pan cool, got the flavors. Poor man still be my neighbor. Sick one tree, bring the favor. It got that good like cater. Dunking on blocking no layup. Made these vows, gotta pay up. Still stay down on the way up. I'm big thankful for the prayers. Salt pack cool, got the flavors. Poor man still be my neighbor. Sit one tree, bring the favor. It got that good like cater.